Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the weekly video again. So, as usual, we are going to take a look at the indices and then we are going to look at the individual stocks in the Singapore market. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the US indices to have a outlook of the for the rest of the week, and then we will be looking at the STI. So, the chart that we are looking at right now will be the Dow. Okay, so you are looking at the Dow closing on last Friday, and it was a very strong closing as the Dow hit all-time high. Now, if the Dow is able to continue its bullish momentum, of course, we will be able to see higher action. But how high can it go? Now, if I were to do a short-term measure of the potential movement, the Dow can hit around 35,694. Okay, 35,694. If I were to do a longer term projection, if the market remain bullish as ever. By the way, there are a lot of people calling for corrections to come. But I would not want to do so because I would just want to take its course. I just want to see where the Dow would trade to as high as possible, or even if it correct immediately, then I will be looking at certain critical level, which I'm going to share later on. So just some projection level may not come true. This is what we are looking at is 36,466. If the bullishness continue. Remember S&P 500, we use the same method to project, and S&P 500 hit that level. So I will believe Dow would have the equal chance to do so. Now, if you are looking at the Dow were to correct immediately, the support level that we are looking at immediately to break is 34710. Okay, so we are looking at a bullish chart right now. So, and there is no bearish sign as yet. So I would not want to speculate and anticipate a downside. But based on experience, if suddenly there is a correction due to, for some reason, the Dow usually retests its 200-day MA to find some support before it recover. So if that really happened, we may want to see this 200-day MA to be tested, and we are looking at around 32,000 level, 32,500 level. So these are the zone that we are going to anticipate the correction if any were to take place. But for now, the Dow chart is very bullish, and I'm looking forward for more upside. As of now, we are looking at the US futures to be slightly red. Okay, the Dow actually is doing some retracement at the futures where they erased a part of the gain on Friday. So seemingly telling me that the last Friday breakout seems to be a whipsaw. But this is not conclusive as yet because we would not know how the Dow will perform at market open. It could recover and even close higher. Okay, so we shall see what happens. S&P 500, remember these targets that we have set already tested, touched, form a resistance, and now broken. So the next target is 4542. As I maintain the chart, I just want to see its own self-fulfilling prophecy to hit that level as it turns continually bullish, or rather it is going to be continually bullish if it doesn't break support or if it stays above its resistance. So we shall see whether S&P 500 can continue this bullish chart. As of now, the futures that we are looking at is also slightly red. In fact, it's red where it gives back all its gains on Friday. So we shall see how it performs later tonight. The Nasdaq equally bullish chart said that last Thursday's breakout was erased by Friday's pullback, but nevertheless, it is still looking bullish, and we are on track to the target at 15493. So if the Nasdaq can sustain and recover tonight, so what are we going to anticipate later on will be how the US market reacts to the infrastructure bill, where they are going to look at the 1 trillion investment in the infrastructure, and of course more economic data coming up. So let's see whether the US market can continue to sustain higher. Okay, back to Singapore, we are looking at the STI chart, which is on a major sideway right now. We are looking at the current movement of STI sticking to its resistance level as all our 3 banks announce fantastic sets of results. So what we are looking at is that if it remains bullish, we expect the upper resistance at 3195 to be tested and even broken. As such, it can move towards the next resistance at around 3206. So once it breaks above 3206, then the next target that we're looking at is 3238. So let's hope that this can continue for the STI. Now let's look at individual stocks in the Singapore market that helps the STI to be bullish. So let's look at the banks for now. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the banks had some blockbuster results, which has hit record high again. So what we are looking at is that the DBS has broken its resistance 3090, currently trading above 3090 at $31 closing, and this is a bullish breakout. So what do we see next is that if DBS continue its bullish movement, DBS, in fact, as I did a zoom out earlier on, we are looking at a all-time high for DBS. The market is also very happy on the decision made by the MAS to allow the bank to give higher dividend. So as such, DBS can be still bullish, and using the same method to do the projection, the DBS can hit 32, right, if the bullishness continue. As of now, the chart looks pretty bullish. UOB has a very similar chart compared to DBS, but UOB is just a little bit off its all-time high resistance at 2685. So what we are looking at, let me just confirm whether it's all-time high. Yes, it's all-time high. So the all-time high resistance is 2685. So what we are looking at is that if it can break above 2685, then we may see more upward movement with a delicious or juicy 60-cent dividend coming for UOB. Definitely some of the investor would like to get hold of it. So the projected target will be 2837. OCBC lose its color as compared to UOB and DBS, as the past 2 days it hasn't been performing rather well as compared to the 2 banks earlier. So what we are looking at is that OCBC seems to be stuck at its resistance at 1252, around thereabouts. So there's some slight pullback, but we can still see some buying pressure as it always helped OCBC to close off its low. So similar to the other 2 banks is that if OCBC can continue higher to move up to 1260 range, then we may see some more upward movement. So I would not like to project for OCBC as yet, because it hasn't hit its 1260. So once it hit 1260 and break out from 1260, then we will be looking at higher projection. So OCBC has also announced a very juicy dividend coming at 0.25 cents per share. So this is what we are going to look out for going forward. Now, last week, we also have a very strong performance from the tech sector. Let's start with AEM. Right, AEM rebounded nicely from its low or its support level at the 100-day MA over here as it crossed up above its 20-day MA. And then we are looking at a very strong performance on last Friday. Well, it was halted for announcement, and it is known to us right now that Temasek has officially bought into AEM with 103 million worth of investment. And this is in fact a very strong booster to the counter, because this is where it shows acknowledgement of their performance, their strong sets of results. So this is where the confidence building comes in when Temasek comes in to invest in you. So what happened was that initially the market opened lower, didn't like the deal, but late buying pushed the counter all the way back up to close at its resistance level. So we have a resistance zone for AEM over here. So this is in fact a very bullish chart. Take a look at the volume over here where it surged up tremendously as compared to for the past 3 months of trading, the volume has been mediocre. So what we are looking at is that if AEM breaks above 419, wow, that is a major resistance. The counter has a chance to move towards 466. Okay, Franken last Thursday was a phenomenal movement where we suddenly see a surge in volume and then a strong breakout to push Franken to its all-time high level. Last Friday, it continues to go into new high. Okay, so as such, we can see that this counter is in fact, I would say this counter would really is really strong that even the technical bearish sign couldn't affect its movement. So going forward, what are we going to expect from this counter? For now, I can't tell you because it could still move up higher, or it may pull back because it is ultimately out of the Bollinger Band. So if I follow the textbook, well, out of the band is considered as overbought, tend to find the 20-day MA as support. Then before it resumes, as you can see previously, it has done so. So will it do the same again? This one hard to say because I do see some stocks has the strength to continue to stay out of the band, okay, and continue to move higher. So if we are looking at the higher movement, then next week probably I can tell you a new support level to look at. As of now, the support level is at 1.99, which there is less chance to test based on my experience in recent time. Okay, so we shall see what's going to happen to Franken. Just right, if you're holding the share, just right as high as possible. ISDN, it has gone up as we covered last week, and it is it has struggled to move higher. So it doesn't perform as well as Franken, but to be fair to this counter, it has already moved up. So if this counter can continue to move up, of course, we are looking at 85. We should break 85 and then move towards the next level, which was in the past in 2000 something. Let me just zoom in this part. In 2013, it was trading at this level where it was at 92.5 and it was at 112. So if ISDN can continue, 92.5 will be the next resistance to meet. Okay, and we shall see whether it can cross 85 next week or not. UMS As I mentioned last time, my projected target was 170. So the counter just broke it like a piece of paper. And then we are looking at all-time high at 176. It closed on Friday. So as of now, we don't see a very strong bearish sign, except that this doji may be a reversal sign, but it's not going to be a very strong reversal sign, I think. But I would not be able to tell you for now, because the only thing that I can tell is that why I say that it's not a very strong reversal sign is because the volume isn't that high compared to the previous day buying. So which means that most of the buyers are still hanging on to the counter. So if there's any pullback, for your best chance to get in is that if someone were to be kind enough to push the counter back to 165 and rebound from that. Okay, then just like Nano Firm, where it burst up to all-time high, and then some kind so help to push the counter back to its 20-day MA, where it helps technical traders like us to find entry. So this is a very good opportunity if it can hold above its 20-day MA. And then, of course, we are looking at a rebound above 627 with surge in volume. Then a very good chance for this counter to retest its resistance at 664. So if it were to break below 602, then of course there might be more potential downside as the selling pressure continues. But I won't think that it is a very strong downtrend, probably a short-term downtrend to consolidate at certain level around maybe around 583, consolidate, and then start to move up again. So that type of movement is something like this. So the consolidation took place before the real rally comes in. So we shall see, because our Nano Firm is going to announce result as well. Just to add on, Franken is announcing result 12th of August. Then we have Nano Firm coming up as well. If you still remember last week, I showed you how to check when is the result announcement. Please refer to the last week video, okay, and then you can actually check where the result announcement is. So Nano Firm, we shall wait for the confirmation for the rebound to come in. Together with volume, it will give us a higher confidence that it would potentially hit 664. Then move on to counters like Pronext. I did mention last week we're expecting a rebound, hopefully, and it had done so on Friday with a strong volume, and it broke out from its minor resistance 198. So if this momentum can continue, let's target Pronext as 221. Then we have its counterpart, APAC. So just now I mentioned that if the stock market is kind enough or UMS to pull back, like APAC, you see it pull back to its 20-day MA, then nicely break out over here. While those people who had participated at around 77, seen the breakout, will have a good chance to see APAC retest its resistance at 86. Okay, look at the volume, it's very strong. So let's see whether it can continue this very bullish momentum. Then we are looking at Union Gas, similar. After the breakout did not really happen successfully, it slowly pulled back to its 20-day MA, and this presents a good chance for the stocks to rebound from this 20-day MA to retest 124 and break out from there to continue its bullish trend. Okay, so we shall see, is there any strong closing with a higher volume, a strong closing at 120 or 121. Next, we are going to look at Pure Dental, right? The stocks breaks out and then consolidate over at the top with lighter volume. So we are waiting for the buyers to come back to push the counter back above this resistance at 88 and break out from there. So to continue its upwards momentum towards the let's see, it's all-time high now. If it cross 88, okay, of course, if I were to do a projection, then we are looking at a potential 93, 94 targets. Okay, so let's hope that it can happen. Next, we are going to look at the SIA Engineering. Holding steadily above its 200-day MA, still waiting for a strong buying pressure to push the counter to 214 level, forming a mini double bottom. If it can form a mini double bottom, a change in trend may be on the cards. And we are looking at 221, 223 resistance to be tested again. As everyone know, next week we are opening up the economy again, so we are allowed to dine outside, and we can have a home visit of 5 packs. This is a very good news, and hopefully it can bring SIA higher as well. So let's take a look at SIA. SIA, if I were to pull out the indicators, we can see that it has rebounded very nicely from its 20-day and 50-day and confirms support. MACD and stochastic has turned bullish. Next is to cross above 512. Then we can see 520 major resistance get tested. Once this major resistance is broken, then we can see this whole sideway is compromised, or rather negated, and then the change of trend is in fact on its way. Okay, if it can test 520, because that forms a higher low, and then we see a good chance for SIA to continue go higher, because visitors are allowed to come into Singapore if they are vaccinated. Then of course SIA Engineering, with SIA having more flights, then of course more maintenance, and then we can see SIA Engineering recovering. ComfortDelGro, we can see a glimmer of hope. If ComfortDelGro can retest 162, we see a mini double bottom from its major support. And once it breaks up from 162, then we can see it retest the resistance at 167. Yep, finally, just to cover the last tech counter, which is not very popular, not heavily traded. The volume is pretty low, but it is building a base over here with its major resistance at 322. Is trading currently at this major resistance. Once it breaks out from there, then we can see it goes to 332 over here. Then after that, we will have this 344 resistance tested if the stocks breaks back into uptrend. Okay, so with this, I would like to thank you for viewing this video, and then I would like to wish you a good week ahead. So I'll see you next week. Good day and goodbye.